All right, everyone. Welcome to Broken Barbell episode 7. Today you have me and Tom, and Kevin's not with us, but we do have Tayte Hansen with us. He's one of our friends and former colleagues. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about bodybuilding, certain training methods, nutrition for bodybuilding, physique competitions, things like that, and slowly working towards our final nutrition episode, which reluctantly we will do. In the meantime, check us out on YouTube, just Broken Barbell. Like our videos, view our videos, comment on our videos, and head over to Facebook and like us there too. And any comments, concerns, bashing, calling us shitheads, we're happy to hear it, okay? So do that. So anyways, we're going to be talking to you today, Tayte. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why I decided you should probably be on this podcast.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
So legit. He's our first guest, in case any of you fucking listen to this.
I'm important. Just kidding. I guess I'm here because I did do a men's physique show about a year ago now, last June, so just a little bit over a year. Really good experience overall. Definitely didn't do very good, FYI, but still a great experience.
The disclaimer, but it was a good experience, and that's why I want you on here. So are you actually going to do one this year, or are you kind of hemming it on still?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another one the following June, so that'll be 2 years between contests. I think that's a pretty good amount of time to make some progress, definitely. I did my last show in 2012. Or was it 13? Either way.
It was 2013.
Yeah, it was 13.
Yeah.
And in my division, there was 15 people. I placed 15th. Last place, dead last. I think it was debatable, honestly. I think I personally looked better than at least a handful of people on the stage. But I think that after the judges place the top 3, then, a little bit of analysis goes out the window, and then they're like, okay, 4 through 10. And then after that, they're probably just like, take the last 5 and write them down in any order you want.
Yeah, and then average that order out.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great experience. I learned a lot about myself personally. I definitely pushed some levels that I never thought I could otherwise. Like adhering to a nutrition plan 100% for probably a good 6 months. No drinking for 4 of that. Maybe a little bit longer even. I don't really remember.
Until me and you started hanging out consistently at the end. We'll talk about peer pressure too in training, which is great. Yeah. Okay, so in your mind, what is it in a physique competition? What sets a physique competition versus bodybuilding competition, and what sets apart first place versus 15th place?
Well, the difference between the two, and the most obvious one that everybody's going to notice, is the pants. Well, the shorts.
The pants.
They're pretty much pants. Well, you're going to wear board shorts in a men's physique contest that go to your knees, so you're not going to see your quads.
So no leg days.
Well, I bet some of the guys don't do legs, to be completely honest. I still trained them entirely, the entire
there's a lot of reasons to train legs. Like it stimulates growth hormone.
Exactly. And that was one of the main things for me. It's like, obviously I care about how my legs look because I don't want to look like that guy at the gym. Stimulating the growth hormones and all that is definitely just another reason to train legs. So for all you people that skip leg day,
you're an idiot.
You're not allowed.
And you're not allowed. Much nicer than me.
Yeah.
Much nicer than me. Okay, so and like we said, so the shorts are the different thing.
So the shorts, for sure, they don't take legs into consideration at all, even though they can see your calves. I've been told that they don't even look, it's not taken into consideration at all. Definitely when you look at a men's physique guy, they're not quite as lean.
They're not as lean?
They're not, no. Okay. Like when you're on stage for bodybuilding, you can see the muscle syration guaranteed. Probably 3 to 4% body fat if you're going to be winning. And obviously substantial muscle mass in a bodybuilding contest. Whereas men's physique, you don't actually want muscle syration for the most part. And, well, if you look on ABBA, it says that you're not supposed to. Some of the guys were getting to that point, definitely in my show. But it's still not as lean as somebody that's doing a bodybuilding show. You definitely want insane muscle separation, which is different than syration. You could look it up if you don't know the difference for everybody listening. Basically, muscle syration means that you can see the individual threads of muscle and not the individual muscles.
Yeah. The density of it, essentially, is what you're looking for in physique, then? Is that what you'd say? Yeah.
So basically, physique is less freakish than bodybuilding, kind of a more natural.
Yeah,
more
natural.
Cover model versus... cover model versus
it's
insane.
Good-looking guy look, a beach model.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay.
A glorified beach model contest.
So we're sitting here with a beach model right now.
I wish, guys.
And there's no posing in physique.
No, there is, isn't there?
Oh, there is.
Because I remember you putting a little bit of time
actually.
into that towards the end.
Okay.
It's very slack compared to bodybuilding, where they're going
Okay.
to call out their specific pose, like front double bi, go, you got to do that pose, you got to do it properly, your front lat spread, yada, yada, yada. Men's physique is quarter turns.
Okay.
So, like I said, glorified model contest.
Yeah.
You literally do 4 quarter turns.
Yeah, number 2, turn
Front,
left. Yeah.
and then right, and then back, and then the other side.
Yeah.
You just rotate in a circle.
So as it is, that's what it shows.
Mm-hmm. And when they line you up after, in a bodybuilding contest, they might call for your front double bi. They'll literally just tell you to turn. They'll be like, turn right. Everybody will turn right. Okay, turn again.
So and then you just try to do that, make a fist or open up your hand thing, just try to get it pumped up as much as you can. There's no real flexing like that, or
there isn't real flexing. You're not. That's a hard question. I guess it probably comes down to your coach. I think certain coaches and certain competitors will have different opinions on that.
Yeah.
You definitely don't throw up your double buys at any point, right? But there is certain hand placement that's recommended, but once again, it's probably on an opinion basis.
Yeah.
And that might vary depending on the
athlete.
Athlete or competitor.
Some people might want to be trying to hide certain muscles or show off other parts, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, so if anybody's familiar with bodybuilding and things like that, you know that we're kind of impartial to the whole idea of it, but one thing that we always say anybody in the entire world can benefit from as far as the bodybuilding way of training and way of life is their nutrition.
Yeah.
And how kind of, it is just insanity sometimes, isn't it? I mean, like, what was your experience with it? So you don't have to be specific as to what you did, but as far as, let's say, post-show or even considering doing a show, what sort of differences did you see?
Well, I've been training since I was 16, literally, so following a nutrition plan isn't anything new to me.
Yeah.
And what I did for my show was counted macros, which I actually found better than what I had done previously, which was just adhering to meal 1, meal 2, meal 3.
Yeah.
Because then you get some freedom and you can actually somewhat eat what you feel like eating. Yeah. Like, some days I would feel like eating chicken and rice 6 times, so I'd literally do that and it would be fine. Then the next day I'm like, I don't want that, I'm going to have something else.
Yeah.
It's definitely tough. But you just get so set in your routine that for me it wasn't really phasing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, I need a McDonald's cheeseburger, I'm going to die. It's just, it becomes part of your routine. It's like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You don't eat to enjoy eating, you just eat because it's one more thing that you have to do in the day.
And that's the thing. And when we say you're eating, it's quite clear that what you are eating, when you say macros and things like that, even with a little bit of freedom, you're eating good foods.
Right.
We're eating really good food. Like, I mean, he already said chicken and rice. So we're looking at, and I mean, everybody's heard that, chicken, rice, vegetables, there you go, that's what you need. And I mean, it is true. You can look at a guy like Kai Green. He's done documentaries on this where he's literally just eating that every single day. And it might be frustrating to do it, but if you want to be successful, you need that routine. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of discipline, right? I mean, for me, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. We're a little luckier like that. I mean, if I'm trying to put on another 12 pounds, I have leeway. Giving me shit today because I made fish and chips.
And that leeway is nice, though.
Leeway is a wonderful thing.
And that's the thing about counting macros, is I had leeway in my macros to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So I found things that fit my macros that I enjoyed eating. Like, I could go to Subway and I could order a sub within reason, not anything on the menu.
Yeah.
Go on the website, look at the macros, punch it in, and there you go. I have like my 30 grams of protein, a little bit of fat, which is okay, and my carbs from the bread. There was no big deal. But the one thing for me is post-workout every workout day, I got 35 grams of sugar, so sucrose. And I could have it from whatever source I wanted. I could go eat candy, I could go eat whatever, sugary cereal like Frosted Flakes, but I decided to have Pop-Tarts.
That was influenced by someone.
Mr. Mega Marty McPhee.
Yeah, so he's what would you say, just like the local
I'd say he's the best contest prep coach in Red Deer.
Yeah, contest prep, that's what
compared to everybody else. And I'm not going to name names, but Marty is definitely the best in my opinion.
The most well-known for sure.
If you're going to want to coach at his caliber, you're going to have to go to Calgary or Edmonton or further, and you're going to pay twice as much.
Yeah, so there's our shout-out and plug to Marty McPhee if he wants to throw some
t-shirts
and some hair products. That'd be good. Okay, so we talked about that, like that nutrition a little bit and the discipline, and wanting to say, so you recommend that to anyone, right? Like, so you're not training people right now, but if you were training somebody, you recommend the idea of getting a routine, find foods you like, good foods.
Yeah. When I was
But be
training, I
consistent.
wished I could have, been like, why don't you guys just count macros? But that's not really how the gym was set up that I worked at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of had to make like a set, here's your meal 1 through 6, you need to eat this. And there was a little bit of counting macros in a sense. Without counting macros, it was just switching in other food that would
Yeah.
actually equal the
It
same macros.
was just quietly and secretly counting these macros so nobody would know that's what you're doing.
It is, but then it doesn't give you as much liberty still. And it's hard for somebody who doesn't have at least some nutritional knowledge or somebody to teach you how to properly count macros. It actually amazes me how uneducated and uninformed people are.
Absolutely.
Did you guys see my Facebook status about the Subway thing?
No.
So me and Morgan, my girlfriend, were at Subway ordering a sub. The lady in front of us asked the worker at Subway behind the counter, she said, if I get double meat, does that double the calories on my sub? The worker blankly stared back at her for about 5 seconds and then said, yeah, I think so. And then the lady said, okay. And then she got double meat
People
anyways.
running the food industry don't know what they're doing. I was in line getting groceries one day, and at any grocery store there's always candy and everything there. And there's a big tub of like those Swedish berry things. And this was the reasoning. And I wanted to say something, I'm there, but it's just one of those things where in public I hold my tongue. And they're like, oh, look at this. Like, oh, I should get these. And they're like, oh, they're good for you. It has 0 grams of fat.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, my good God. And, it's always that bullshit thing. 13 pieces. Doesn't matter. It's only 100 calories. But it's all from sugar. And
all
you're just
from
like,
sugar,
whoa.
all from fat. Oh, yeah, the marketing gimmicks are unreal. They target those naive people that don't know anything.
And people do not want to read, and they wonder why they're fat and they're sick and things like that. But it's easy. This isn't that hard to do.
And that's kind of like what you're saying with your experience the other day. That's something that companies are really good at with their own marketing, because even if you do read the nutritional information, I think it was when I was in college, our nutrition teacher was talking about, like, if for a bag of chips, they'll say a serving size. Which is 4 chips, and then so that's the information you're getting.
But it's only 200 calories, so if I do that, and they don't understand that the whole bag of chips is changing.
Exactly.
Really, nutrition isn't that complicated. It really isn't. Anybody could figure it out.
Yeah, it's just
they just don't put the time into figuring it out.
You have to educate yourself.
And it is too bad, because if there's one thing that you're worried about your money, you're worried about all these things going on, your health is pretty important. And I mean, and nutrition's easy. Like I've said this 1,000 times. Meat and vegetables. We're big on the paleo, and like I said, I definitely stray from that. Yeah. And we all do. But I mean, besides like rice, you're basically paleo yourself, right? Besides like the odd thing, like maybe a little bit of bread here.
Man, I'll eat bread. I'll eat pasta. I'll eat rice. I'll eat white pasta.
So he's not paleo. I take that back immediately. This podcast is totally fucking ruined. Thanks a lot.
You fucked up, Dave.
Okay, so if that's all, that's all well and good. So we all recommend to people discipline. Monotony is a pretty good thing, isn't it? I mean, if you, like, let's say 80% of the time you are kind of eating the same things, or at least the same balance of things.
I eat the same things all the time. I can name 5 meals that I probably eat more than anything else, but I like them all. Cottage cheese and berries. We all know how Dave loves the cottage cheese.
Well, I did that for a little while, but I'm off there.
Put it in a blender. So much better.
He was explaining this to me. Cottage cheese and strawberries.
Blend up the cottage cheese, put the berries in. It's like ice cream.
I'll have to try that, but it sounds really gross. One time, somebody told me to microwave my cottage cheese.
So I've done that before because I had frozen berries in it.
It was so nasty.
It wasn't very good.
It turned into like this watery paste with like half melted, gross rubbery cheese
I'll never forget the one time we were out. We were at like Morgan's drinking, and you're like, "Oh, you want a snack?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm hungry." You brought down a bowl of fucking cottage cheese and oatmeal.
No, I thought I brought you yogurt and oatmeal.
No, I'm pretty sure it's cottage cheese because it was fucking disgusting. It was just like even if it was Greek yogurt.
Oh, I remember what it was. It was oatmeal cooked with some yogurt in it. It's really good.
No, it just wasn't. It was terrible. I was like, I gave it away. I was like, this is just...
Last time I feed you.
Well, I think it might have been.
So there you go. No matter how healthy it is, if you don't like it...
You won't eat it.
It's not going to work.
Exactly. Some, personal preference.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like what you were saying, Tate. You have 5 meals that you like, and that's easy because then you just cycle them out throughout the week.
You can't get bored.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just eat whichever one you feel like.
You just got to be prepared.
And if you get sick of those, you do some research and find some other food you can eat and make another meal, and there you go.
Yeah.
Do you find that people in your kind of game with that, are they doing a lot of meal prep, or are they doing it day to day? What do you
do meal prep once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually cook on the weekends, and it'll usually last me. And if it doesn't, I cook again. And if it lasts longer than a week, it lasts longer than a week.
I'm pretty good about because there's varying things. So I cook probably twice a week. And besides breakfast, supper, I always have my lunches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You cook for every meal, Tate?
No, usually just once a week. Most of it.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying you'll cook all your meals for every single day once a week.
I don't cook the meals and measure them all out. I'll cook a box of chicken and throw it in the fridge in a huge Tupperware container.
Okay.
And take it out and measure it when I need it. Throw it in the microwave.
Cool.
But sometimes I'll be I feel like making egg whites, so I'll throw it on the fryer.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't make that in bulk.
As long as you get whatever your need for the day.
Yeah. Cool. Exactly.
And then Tom.
I'm more of a day-to-day.
Yeah, fucking day-to-day.
And that's because my schedule allows it.
Yeah.
I always cook my lunch at home in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Yeah, you'll come home midday in no time. I'm making my breakfast as you're making your second meal.
Yeah.
And then I'll make supper at night.
And I have done meal prep before. Typically, I like to cook. I don't like cooking everything at the start of the week. That's just too much hassle for me.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this, and I found this today. Shit goes bad if you don't eat it. And if you like Tate said, he has chicken. Maybe he's well, I just want eggs tonight. If I do that, I just probably wasted a meal because it usually happens towards the end of the week, and I'm just ugh.
You sound like my girlfriend. I will literally eat chicken that's been cooked and in the fridge for 2 weeks.
That's gross.
It's not okay.
It
really is.
Well, no, but if it is, well, exactly. The thing is, one time I did do that, and it was fucking
I've never
spoiled.
had food poisoning. Actually, I have from takeout restaurants.
So there you go.
Food is safer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the training part. So everybody wants to have a beach body and just fucking look unreal, but people would be surprised to find out that you do what probably most people do, just in higher volumes and more guided. Better purpose in the end. Would you say so?
Yeah, well, I don't really know what most people do, but I think it's pretty generic what I do.
Yeah, so your usual 3 sets of 10, 12, things like that. So again, you'll do burnout sets, things like that. Drop sets and stuff. Yeah. So a few more specific things, but what's a typical day, or how does a split work for a
typical day? Will be at least an hour in the gym of lifting weights. So that's excluding any warm ups, any cool downs, any stretching. Mm-hmm. An hour of weightlifting, maybe 75 minutes tops.
See, I like that because a lot of people, there's a big kick kind of nowadays where it's workouts have to be under an hour, or you're going catabolic or whatever with your hormone thing. So people think they only have to be in the gym for an hour.
Yeah.
But you're not stressing your body during your warm up or your cool down. Mm-hmm. So I think an hour of training time is good. Yeah. But tag on the warm up and the cool down after that.
Yeah. Cool down and warm up and stretching does not count towards your workout.
No.
Sorry, people.
Unless you're doing some really crazy.
But I like that hour. An hour is a good amount of time, but it's so individual, right? And it's all about having progression on an individual level. So I can't say everybody needs to work out for an hour and we'll get progress, because there's so many other factors that go into that, number one. And number two, an hour might be an extremely long workout for somebody just starting, but for a seasoned vet, an hour might not be enough. Mm-hmm. They might need more. Yeah. Or they might need more volume and more intensity within that hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about doing 2 days and things. You ever do any 2 days?
I have, yeah. I recently started doing that.
What would you do? 2 days weightlifting, or you'd weightlift and then you'd go do some kind of cardio session after?
I haven't done cardio in forever. I'm trying to put on weight right now. The cardio's for when I'm prepping for the show. I'll get more than my fair share of cardio then.
How heavy were you before you cut for your show last year?
Oh, man. I was a really bad 180 to 190.
Yeah, and then what are you now? Because you look fucking way bigger.
A really good 195 probably.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Jesus Christ. So what do people cut down to? 180? 185?
Man, I started probably 180, 190. I don't know what I was exactly. It's probably more around 180, 185, but it was bad. I was a little tubby even, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen the picture. It was kicking around for a bit.
Yeah.
I went on stage 165.
Really?
Yeah, I was after cutting water and everything, so I was probably 170 of actual weight before I cut water.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely at a better starting point for this year.
That's good then. Yeah, so because you have to cut 10, 15 pounds. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I remember the last few days.
Well, I went from probably 185 to 165, so that's probably
25 pounds. The best thing about hanging out with people who are cutting and things like that is not the fact that they're fucking absolutely batshit crazy because they're not allowed to have carbs and all this, but people usually have candy in their house. Because I remember going to Tayte's house and like having like half a tub of gummy worms. Like, hungover one morning. It was awesome.
I don't think that's something I would ever do.
I don't know. I don't think I ever went crazy or got too bad.
You didn't really, I don't think.
There was
a few times there where maybe you're just... You have a fucking
temper what happened?
Anyways. I don't know.
A temper. Come on, no, I don't.
Fucking, you ever play a video game with Tate?
Just a grumpy guy, eh?
Yeah, you know me, just tired and grumpy all the time.
StarCraft, fucking done. But
Well, how long were you cutting for before the show? Because that's something that's interested me. Is when do you start losing weight? Does that depend on where you're at?
Yeah, it does. I'd say typically most people will cut 8 to 12 weeks out.
Okay, that's a long time.
That is a long time. That's kind of surprised me. I was gonna say maybe like
I
4 or 6
started
weeks
in September
to cut for
June. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you guys saw the picture.
Oh, you're talking awful. You're talking full competition. So you're technically talking about. Weren't you putting on weight at that point too? Like you're still trying to go up.
I was still trying to build muscle and cut at the same time, which really isn't the most efficient way to do things.
Yeah.
But I was just in a place where I needed to lose some weight. Like I actually started training because I was like, I'm getting out of hand. Like I was slacked for a year. It was half-ass. Nutrition was half-ass. I just wasn't in a good place that prior year. So then it was more like fitness kick time. And if things started to shape up, I would do a show. And I thought I'd give it a shot.
Yeah. So now you've done this. Now you're starting to see that you have more time to put on the weight.
Yeah.
Get the training right.
Which is what I'm doing right now.
Because like there's some people who don't they get cut in like fucking 6 weeks? Like 6 to 8 weeks.
Like how gradual would you say your process was? Like was it
very gradual? Okay. Very, very gradual. And that's actually the most beneficial way to do it if you have extra time because you'll lose less muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to just go through as a stick.
Those people that cut in 6 to 8 weeks, that's just not a lot of time. And honestly, they're probably taking something else because if not, they would just burn off so much muscle, like cutting their calories in half so abruptly.
Yeah, just atrophy like crazy. Hey?
Yeah.
That's great. So, what do you think about people like as far as like from a health perspective, cutting down from because again, like even like if you sit around here and you see us. And you're at what right now? 190, you said? 185, 190? So you look like a really, really healthy 185, 190. So to drop that weight like crazy, people are going to be like, well, why the fuck would you want to do that? When people have so much trouble, like the average client of a personal trainer has trouble losing 8 pounds in a month, right? Yeah. Which is what I'd say is the healthiest you can do. Health, like based on ACSM guidelines. What do you think about the idea of like just dropping weight like that?
2 pounds a week for the average person?
No, for a showrunner, like for somebody who has to lose like 15 pounds in 4 weeks or whatever, or 25 pounds.
Yeah. Well, in that short of a period, it's definitely not healthy.
Yeah.
But people do what they got to do. It's a sport they love and they want to compete at a high level and they're willing to do what it takes. It's just like any other sport. If you want to be a pro hockey player and you blew your shoulder, you're probably going to go play with your half-ass shoulder anyways.
Yeah. So just do it. So you got to look at it more of as a sport and not the real health. Yeah, because I guess some guys aren't probably really healthy anyways.
No. A lot of them are. A lot of them aren't.
Yeah. More like the bodybuilding world, they're probably not as healthy.
That's the problem with bodybuilding is it gets this, well, you're lifting weights and you're exercising. Aren't you doing it to be healthy? Which is what it is for some people. But the people competing at high levels, that's not what it is.
They're doing it to be a freak.
They're doing it to win.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, if you're putting enough money or enough time into it, that you want to compete like that, you probably are taking a lot of time away from work and things like that, unless you're blessed and you have a really good career. Yeah, exactly. You're sacrificing a lot of things. So that $100,000 that you win at 5th place at like an Olympia or whatever the hell it is, that might be your income.
Man, I don't even know if they get that much. I got no idea.
Well, I was watching. They made a decent amount of money, but
for the top 3, they get.
It was I watched it. It was between 4 and 3 was $50,000 difference in price. Like a different, and the guy was like, "Holy!" Fuck.
And you got to imagine the sponsorships and stuff are probably worth a decent chunk.
Yeah,
but I mean, those are for like the top 5 Mr. Olympians. How many people compete at like a regional, provincial, national level?
They compete to win. Oh, you don't win any money.
Thousands
Like,
and thousands,
especially
thousands.
in this country, I mean, you don't really win a lot of money.
No, you don't win
doing this.
anything for winning either of those.
Really, there you go.
You don't win anything at regional. You don't win anything at provincial. I'm pretty sure you don't win anything at national. I think you only win when you get your pro card after that.
Really?
I'm not very educated on this, honestly. But
This is more of a test and challenge for yourself to do this.
yeah, no, exactly. You're not going to make money doing it.
Yeah. That's good.
It's just because it's something you want to do.
That's cool.
Well, it
Especially
could-
the sport, competitive.
Potentially, it could help further your career if you are involved in fitness and like
Yeah.
running a supplement business or being a personal trainer. Even if you never win or place very high, you can still say,
You can leverage
Yeah,
"This
that.
is
you
my
can-
background."
That's like the perfect example. Is like that's why one of the reasons we want to have you on here is because you've actually compete. Like it is a competition.
Yeah.
Like you train like an athlete. Not anybody can just walk up there and fucking do this. I could not do this. I could not handle what you kind of went through last year, just trying to eat properly all the time. I have the willpower of a fucking 2-year-old.
You know, I thought I didn't have willpower either, but, you know, you learn things about yourself.
So with willpower, I want to talk about this because I was a huge pain in your ass with peer pressure last year. So Tayte, how
Are you
old
talking about my birthday?
Oh fuck! You got a specific example? No, I don't know.
No, well, you brought that up earlier, I thought, without actually explaining it.
Oh,
No, I know the example.
I
just
don't know any
if I
example.
want to say
Okay,
it.
okay. Well, we're all 20-something. We all still like to party, and by we I mean Dave does. That's me. And there's a few times last year where I would just get on Tate's ass so bad to drink with us. And how many times did I get you? Probably twice.
You got me twice, yeah.
Twice for sure.
It wasn't entirely you. But anyways, yeah, I adhered to my nutrition plan for probably 6 months perfectly. Didn't drink for 4 of it. And then, you know, I'm getting close to my show. It was like early June. My show was mid-June to late June.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it was hot.
It was my birthday, June 9th.
Yeah.
So, you know, of course, the 2 months prior, Dave's busting my balls. Like, come on, you gotta have one drink. Come drink with me. Come on, drink with me. And I listened to it for 2 months and didn't drink with him. And then it was my birthday, and wasn't it the 360 staff party earlier that night, too?
I think so. There was
Or
a
something.
lot of things playing into my
Yeah, there's a
wheelhouse.
lot of things jam-packed into that little span of time.
Yeah, it was a good summer.
Yeah, it was fun. And then, so here's Dave. Come on, drink with me, drink with me. And then you said one thing to me, and I still remember it to this day, and I haven't forgotten it, and I probably never will. And you said, Tate, how many of those other guys that are going on stage with you do you think are drinking right now? And I said, yeah, good point.
Is that what I said? Good for me.
That's what got me, man.
Well,
I knew you were right, too.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
Mm-hmm. One night, well, I still believe in this. One night of belligerence can't ruin everything. It's like, you look at pro athletes, and yeah, it's not physique, and yeah, calories are a huge part of your sport. But like a professional NHL player, I know for a fact they drink beer a couple times a week, and they do pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but having 1 or 2 beers is a problem. Like, we literally went out and got shit-faced. And it was probably a week or 2 before my show. So you're getting all those extra calories when you're eating shit all already. I was probably eating like 2,100 calories a day. Probably drank more than that.
Yeah.
Then I was so hungover I couldn't even eat the next day, just puking all day.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That kind of evened it out.
Yeah. So you
Not
should have
really.
practiced is the problem.
And then you're completely dehydrated, your electrolytes are fucked.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, alcohol is just so detrimental to training, in my opinion.
See, I don't find that.
Um,
I got.
I think it depends on your tolerance.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That's a good example because I have a tolerance of another world. But I got I had a lot of fun this weekend, and I PR'd on my back squat. So I mean, it didn't fuck up my training that bad. It did on Sunday. I hurt my neck. But other than that, things are good. So yeah, peer pressure. If you want something, don't listen to that stupid friend of yours who says,
Don't hang out with Dave.
come on, just one drink. I'm kind of bad for this, yeah. However, well, okay, yeah. If you were one of my athletes, then I wouldn't do that. But
I'm not
since
important,
you're just
is
one of my
what
best
you're
friends, yeah. No, because I look at it as Tate, let's go party and have fun, versus Tate, we're competing in sports. I don't look at you like that. It's like it's cool that you're training, but it's more like fucking.
Well,
drink.
I think that's a big thing with a lot of people is they don't view bodybuilding or physique as an actual sport,
Mhm.
right? So I don't think they make that connection
Connection.
with the discipline.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have trouble calling it a sport. I mean, I see that as a competition, but as a sport, I'm kind of on the fence.
I think I've learned.
Personally, on that
I can
one.
hear that.
Yeah, I think more so now this year than any other year. I've really put a lot more thought into it and like watched a lot of these guys and the training they put themselves through and things like that. And it's just like it is a sport. Like, it's a little weird, right? But I think it is a sport. It's like, is golf a sport?
Yeah,
Well, sometimes, but not
yeah.
really. Like, it is a competition.
Yeah.
And as someone who golfs, it's fucking tough. And sitting next to a guy who also sort of golfs, it's tough. So, I mean, like, it's a sport-specific skill. It's like, is pitching a really athletic thing? Yes.
The reason people don't think bodybuilding is a sport is because they just see these jack guys standing on stage flexing. It's like, when you look at that, yeah, it doesn't look like a sport, I agree. It looks like a competition to, who's the biggest, who looks the best. But when they walked up on stage, they showed the training they went through, the eating they adhere to all day, and everything else that goes into it, you would go, holy shit, these guys probably put in more work than other professional sports players.
Oh, definitely.
That's a good
definitely.
point.
And like, I really think of it as like, are they an athlete? So they're training in something physical and things like that. And if you can't honestly look at it and say I believe anybody can do anything in the world, but I can tell you that I can't or just will not ever try to be a bodybuilder because I couldn't do what they do. I wouldn't want to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That's what kind of makes it a sport. It's like football is fucking great, but I don't know that I'd want to be getting cranked all the time, flying around having a fucking concussion. But it doesn't mean it's not a sport. It doesn't mean it's not competitive. It doesn't mean it's not cool. It's just one of those things. Okay, we are going to take a break, our only break, and we're actually pushing pretty hard into this. So we'll come back, we'll recap everything, and then we'll kind of leave you with whatever else we can think of. Okay, so we're back. So basically, we want to kind of go back and really kind of get into get a little more in depth about the training of like the bodybuilding kind of modeling almost world. Okay, so Tate, what does a typical week look like for you? Like, so splits, things like that.
I'm going to try to make this really simple because it can get a little bit in depth. Definitely 5 days a week of training, minimum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And an even split of all the muscle parts.
Okay, so explain that, because that's confusing already.
What are
That's
your
confusing, even to you? You don't understand
to
what I mean by that?
major muscle groups? So when you say splits and hitting all those, are you talking...
so, I mean, you want to hit every muscle group that a typical bodybuilder will hit in that split. So I'm talking traps, bis, tris, shoulders, all 3 parts of your shoulder, chest, probably incline, decline, and flat, back, all the muscles in your back, like lats, rhomboids, you want to get it all, and then of course legs, quads, hamstrings, calves,
See, that's
glutes.
That's funny for me, because for me, I do 4 moves in a workout, and that's it.
Yeah, not me.
So when you say targeting each muscle group evenly, you want to divide your workload between each muscle group and then balance that out.
Yes and no. Like, you're not going to do as much for biceps as you are for chest.
Yeah.
You basically just want to hit every muscle group as much as it needs to be hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I can explain it any more simple than that.
Yeah,
which is different for everybody, right?
Okay, so that's something you kind of figure out on your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so depending on... Well, give it, where for you is your strongest?
For me?
Yeah, muscle group.
In terms of strength?
Wait, yeah, I was going to say, when we say strongest,
in terms
as far
of
as
show, what does that mean?
Strength?
In terms of show.
Oh, man, like... As far as my genetics go, I got blessed with pretty good chest and pretty good abs. Like, I have an 8-pack, and it's very visible and very separate when I'm lean, and I think it looks a lot better than other people's abs.
Yep.
It might have 6 or 4, and uneven dispersion and not, like, big and bulky abs. So that's probably one of my best show points.
Okay, so that's something, training-wise, how much time then do you put into that?
When I was training for my show, I did quite a bit of abs, probably 2 to 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a bit more in comparison than other things. But I think that even if I didn't do that, they would still look better than other people's, because you can't really control your abs. It's so genetically bound.
That's for sure, yeah.
You can increase the size, but your abs are what they are, and they're very individual among people and competitors.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said my chest was another strong point because it's just very square, very symmetrical, like very full. Whereas other people, have oddly shaped pecs that aren't necessarily square, which is what you want.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't fill out the same. Like, you might have like a less thick pec in the center versus the outside and things like that.
Or one kind of like not symmetrical, even side to side. Because I mean, for me, my right pec is much more developed than my left, which
There could be a reason for that.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It's the fact that
Which would
one of
be-
those 4 movements isn't bench press or
Yeah,
push-ups or
maybe.
anything like that.
Yeah, the fact that I don't train chest might be a contributing factor to that. But what are some other factors that can cause, I mean, genetics aside, what's some training issues that can cause symmetrical issues? That was very clear.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and I'm trying to think of an answer. I'm not sure if I really have a good answer for that.
No, okay.
I think, obviously, if your right bicep is stronger than your left and you're going to curl 30 and your right and 25 and your left, that's idiotic. But, I mean, obviously it would cause that. Yeah. Or even if you're grabbing 30s for both and getting 10 reps on your right every time and 8 on your left, that's probably going to cause some problems too. But, I mean, I'm sure some people can grab the same weight, do the same reps, and have, symmetrical issues. Mm-hmm. Maybe forms coming into play there. Like, obviously biceps is something that people don't usually do properly.
Yeah.
Use a lot of anterior deltoid and momentum. And,
it's a full body compound.
No kidding, hey? So, doing your right with good form because it's nice and strong, and then your left might not if you're right-handed. Yeah. But you think you're doing it right, but you're not. Yes. That can cause issues.
And this is a good argument for using dumbbells or single cable machines as opposed to barbells and big bars on cable machines. Because if you're right side dominant, you're always going to be putting a little bit more into your right side. I know I'm guilty of that.
And people aren't going to know, though, especially.
If you're an amateur.
If you're not very kinesthetically aware, and an amateur, definitely, if you're not seasoned.
Good word. I like that one. Kinesthetic awareness.
Wow. Fucking brought the nerds on today. Good.
I'm going to back it up a bit. So we talked about your strong points and trying to just draw the contrast here. How often would you target one of your weaker points? Like, would you focus on your weaker points more?
Definitely more, yeah. If you know that they're weaker in the sense of...
Yeah, again, aesthetics.
Again, we're talking show and aesthetics,
not strength.
Yeah, not strength. Like, my calves, they don't grow. I train them twice a week. Just beat the shit out of them with every calf exercise you can think of. Mm-hmm. Train them to the point where I don't even think I can train them anymore. They just don't grow.
Okay.
You got to keep trying, though. Like, you can't give up, right?
Yeah, you can't just stop.
You can't say, I'm not training calves now, because then what happens?
Yeah.
And you can't go to the competition and say to the judges, well, sorry, my calves won't grow, so fucking put me in the top 5. That's not my fault.
That's a good point.
Okay, so let's talk a bit more, again, more precise. Percentage-wise, based off of 1 rep max, what's your intensity for most of your training?
That's tough to ask, because what's your 1 rep max bicep curl?
I don't know.
Let's redo this then. Okay, so you are very, very specific on training for aesthetic and shows and things like that. Do you pay any attention to strength?
I was just going to say I don't even know my 1 rep max.
No.
Yeah.
For any lift.
For anything.
Nope.
Now, because I've seen you kind of mess around with things like that, but that's literally probably all it is, Just messing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you find your starting point then? Because, I mean, you have that. The reason I do 1 rep maxes is that gives me an idea of where I'm at, where I should be working, where I should be going.
Because we work at a percentage every single day.
Yeah.
So what I did was I made a new workout, hypothetically. I go to the gym tomorrow. My first exercise is bench press. I'm like, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to bench fresh for 10 reps.
Yeah.
So I throw up a plate in a 25. I try it out. Oh, that was too heavy or that was too light. I adjust the weight. Okay. I find that spot. Usually the first week is a little bit of guesswork like that for me, but then the next week I'm going to know exactly where I need to be and I'm going to work from there. And it's not like that first week was a waste because let's say I throw up a plate 25 up there and I struggle and I only get 6 reps and I want a 10, well shit, I just work the crap out of my chest on that set.
Yeah, so you burn almost for best. So what is your goal in each set? So let's use the bench press as an example, and you're trying to find that right weight because you don't know what it is yet, right? Maybe week 3 you're perfect.
I have a very good idea of what I'm gonna lift.
So are you going with just like that? What is it called? Like your efficacy or whatever.
Your gut?
Yeah. Well, no. Like, are you going like what? If we're doing 10 reps, are we looking for that 8, 9, 10 should be like absolute hell, or should you be able to get through those 10 reps with like moderate work level? Yeah. Let's say that.
Maybe for the first set, yeah. Definitely by the last 2-3 sets of an exercise, it should be friggin' hard. Yeah. Like, I did bench today, I didn't have a spot, and, sometimes I gotta wonder if I'm gonna get caught under the bar on my last rep for some of those sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to put it, though. If that rep 10 is everything you got, then that's...
Yeah, sometimes when I'm doing bench without a spot, I'll definitely be at the top, and I'll be thinking to myself, should I do this next rep? Because I probably can, but I might not be able to.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So more of that training to failure.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
near
would you
failure.
say is it training to failure?
It's train to failure guaranteed, and maybe on the first set or two, I'll train to near failure just so that I have enough left for the other 3 or 4 sets that I'm gonna do.
And that's kind of where I wanted to go. So if you're working in 3 to 4 sets, which is probably pretty
Probably
typical.
more like 5.
Okay, so 5 sets of one exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just do this. That split. If it's like just like a chest day for you, how many chest exercises?
Okay, so
is
today I
typical
did
for you?
chest and biceps.
Okay.
I think I did 5 chest exercises and 3 bicep exercises. Most of the the exercises will be 5 or 4 sets, and some of them will be 3 towards the end of my workout, and more for biceps because it's a smaller muscle group versus chest.
So that's very high volume.
That is
it's a
huge volume.
I do a lot. I was there for my workout. I always time it, so I know my time of actually lifting weights. Like I said earlier, excluding warm-up, cool-down, stretching.
Yeah.
Today was 75 minutes.
Okay.
But I jam-pack a lot of stuff into that 75
That's a lot.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's 8 exercises today, for instance.
Yeah, 8 exercises, probably average 4 to 5 sets an exercise.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound that bad when you say 8 exercises, but 4 to 5 sets each. And so are you doing like a lot of tempo control during your sets, or are you just trying to give
100%. Yeah, perfect form and perfect tempo is one of the top priorities. Every time I get into a set, you got to mentally check in. You got to be like, okay, we're going to do good form. Okay, we're going to do proper tempo. We're going to do proper breathing. And we're going to lift until you can't lift anymore, and then you're going to do another one.
Yeah. Okay.
And see, that's an attitude that I think a lot of strength athletes need to adopt, because with strength training, it's all about moving the weight, right?
Yeah.
So if you get it up, who cares about how it looked, right? But that's very detrimental to your training and your strength development if you don't have that focus on your technique.
You'll teach yourself a shitty way to do it.
I think that's definitely more important for strength athletes, but still for bodybuilders, very important. Because when I'm getting into the bench press, I want to have perfect form because I'm trying to hit my chest.
Yeah,
not my shoulders and friggin', you know what I mean? Like,
you're not trying to find a different way to get it up. It's not about moving the bar, it's about getting muscles worked up.
And speaking specifically of bench press, I mean, sorry to get a little bit off topic, but when you watch a powerlifter do it and a bodybuilder do it, it's so different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
One's flat, one's contorting their body
Like
everywhere.
when you watch a bodybuilder do it, or a bodybuilder do it properly, they're going to be perfectly flat on the bench, not putting hardly any weight on their feet or toes because they want to actually hit their, the medial part of their pec.
Yeah.
Whereas the bodybuilder wants to use proper biomechanics to lift the most amount of weight.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to just give ourselves an advantage to lift the weight. I mean, it's not to say that it's... I won't say that one way's wrong versus one way's right.
It depends on what you're trying to do.
Both ways are right because they're doing what they need to do to excel at what they're trying to do.
Specific.
No, but I think that the problem with a lot of people who train or work out in the gym is they want that aesthetic benefit, but they train...
But they want it to be easy.
So they train like they're a strength athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I won't do 10 reps of squats, because fuck that.
I've never done anything but...
I couldn't imagine. Well, I guess it's not true. I do have to do that one set of 20 every week.
And this is funny because volume-wise, have you ever looked at your tonnage for a workout?
I considered looking at it, but I don't think it's really that important.
No, I mean, I'm more curiosity's sake, because that was when I did my 4-month program that I'm on now. I calculated the tonnage for every workout for 4 months, and that's because I'm a math nerd, and that's how I figure stuff out where I should be. But it'd be interesting to see, because you're working at, again, relatively speaking, lower intensities because your volume is higher. Again, you don't test your 1RM, so that doesn't really matter to you. But it'd be interesting just to see
how
volume-wise.
If you think about it, like, I mean, we looked at yours, Tom, and it was crazy volume. Tayte's would probably triple that.
Yeah.
Easily. And it's just because, I mean, it is a lot more exercises.
Yeah.
But, I mean, weight lifted. So it says a lot about, like, it's just that you train for speed. You train for aesthetic. You are getting stronger, though. Like, I mean, do you notice that? Do you notice that your weights go up?
Well, I mean, when I started weightlifting when I was 16, I probably couldn't squat 25 aside and for 10. And the best I've ever gotten to just training for aesthetics is 2 plates 25 aside for 10 for 4 or 5 sets.
Which is nuts.
That is crazy heavy.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
And that's proper form. That's not the quarter squat, half squat that you see most people do in the gym.
Push off the one
definitely
leg.
90 degrees.
Yeah. So there you go. So there is a place for it, right? like, I mean, we talked about that training for show versus training for strength. You'll always get stronger if you lift more weights.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
And
how it
just
goes.
kind of throwing this, and you obviously journal
Yes,
everything, right?
Yeah, people make fun of people that come to the gym with a sheet of paper and a pencil, but I think it doesn't make you look like an idiot. It makes you look like you know what you're doing and you care.
How can you go anywhere if you don't know where you're coming from?
Yeah,
I think it just doesn't make any
and
sense.
especially with that high volume, you're never going to remember what you did last week.
That's the thing.
Weight-wise, right?
That's what I say. I would have no idea what weights to grab.
Yeah.
Well, I would have a general idea, but then I'd be like, well, was it the 60s or the 65s?
Yeah.
And if you grab the wrong one, it's not.
You almost just wasted a set on that, or waste
exactly.
that energy's gone, right? Okay, so we kind of touched on the intensity of it. So you're working out 5 days a week, like you said, 75 minutes today, the odd 2 a day. And that's just...
Well, I do 5 a minimum. I actually just made myself a new split, which is 6 a week minimum. And then I've been trying to throw in extras if I feel like I have the energy and the time for it. Because you hear the term overtraining so much, and I've never really tested the limits because I'm so scared of it. And everybody makes it sound so bad. But what I'm starting to realize is that I don't really think there's such a thing.
Welcome to this podcast where we have to tell people this every week.
Or it's such a ridiculous amount that nobody has time or the energy to do it. Like, 1 week I trained 8 times, so that was at least once a day, and some days 1 day twice.
Yeah.
I didn't get tired, I didn't get lethargic, my weights didn't go down.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously you were recovering.
Yeah, now think of this. There's a reason this doesn't happen. The reason people overtrain is because they don't do it properly. So an Olympian doesn't really overtrain, and they're training a lot more than us.
Yeah.
They just are. Whether it's sports specific, whether it's in a weight room, whatever. But so what would you say is your go-to for recovery to make sure that doesn't happen, the overtraining?
Go-to for recovery?
Yeah, we talked about this 1 week. So start right from the end of your workout. How do we get ourselves ready for the next day, the next workout, to make sure our weights don't drop down and we aren't getting sick?
Well, definitely nutrition needs to be on point.
Yep.
Pop-Tarts.
Oh yeah, okay, so size of 35 grams of sucrose.
Yeah.
So you kill a Pop-Tart, you do a shake, anything like that, or do you have a meal?
Yeah, well, I have my macros, right? So I'm always following them. So nutrition's always on point all day, every day.
Yeah.
Which definitely, I think, is a huge factor. I don't take any fancy supplements because I personally think they're a waste of money.
Yeah.
Get your water in you. I think I might be guilty, just like some people, for not drinking enough, but I do try to, right?
Yeah.
Sleep is important. You don't want to sleep 4 hours. Get your 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
I mean, I don't think you really need to worry about it a whole lot unless you are training like crazy. Like if you're, like you guys said, an Olympic athlete training for Olympic weightlifting, everything's got to be on key for somebody like that. But I think for somebody like me, if you sleep 6 or 8 hours, it's not going to make a difference. If you miss a liter of water, it's not going to make a difference.
As long as it doesn't become a habit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Just do your part, try to put in the effort and do the best that you can, and you're probably going to be okay.
So that's great information, right? For the average person
Mm-hmm.
who's not looking to compete, you're not CrossFitting, you're not Olympic weightlifting, or maybe you just are doing those things, but in a minor capacity, you are trying for bodybuilding, but maybe not to compete. If you just stick to your training methods, and it's simple things, sleep enough, get enough water, and just make sure you're eating good. I said 100 times, 80% of the time be good. Be near perfect, 80% of the time. Because it'd be pretty hard to fuck that up. Will you look like Tayte? Probably not.
That's nothing too special.
Or it's gonna fucking blow up your Facebook. It's gonna be all these fucking 13-year-old girls.
Oh, boy.
Oh my god! That's
if we have 13-year-old
Sorry,
girls
that's not our
listening,
audience.
I don't think I actually have any
Seriously.
pictures like that up there for the most part.
There you go.
I'm trying to kind of keep everything under a bit of a veil for this year because I'm hoping to hit the stage hard and maybe
Big
surprise some
reveal.
people.
Yeah, the big reveal. I think we could probably dig up that one picture from last year, though.
Oh shit! Yeah, I
That's
think
the
you probably can
funniest
find that. It's
fucking-
probably on Marty's page somewhere. I shouldn't be telling you these
It
things.
probably is. We'll find Tayte Hansen,
Oh god,
his picture.
that's awful.
Okay, so eat good, train hard. So this is just an opinion thing because this is like the most interesting thing in sports. What do you think about PEDs, steroid use, things like that in your sport, let's say, or just in
PED.
general? Performance enhancing.
Okay, I didn't even know what that stands for. Okay, perfect.
Physical education.
Performance.
What do you think about
drugs,
physical education?
steroids?
Fuck.
Okay. If you want to win, you're gonna have to take them.
which is, I think, kind of the consensus.
I think
we
what
have.
was that quote that we had? If you're not taking
If you
steroids,
won't take it, you won't make it.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, people winning Mr. Olympia, like, look at them. Do you think they're taking steroids?
Yeah,
Yes,
probably.
they're taking a lot of them.
They better be.
They're just
A lot
under,
of them.
they're just under the curve.
Which is fine, because they're also working their asses off.
Yeah.
I bet you those guys work out 3 times a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
They spend, like, literally, their job and their life is weightlifting. They don't work because they have to work out all day and eat all day and sleep all day and drink water all day. Like, that's all they do. They eat, they work out. They eat, they work out. They eat. They don't want to eat anymore. They eat some more.
And then they have a nap and they work out.
Exactly.
Which, at that level, they would be overtraining if they weren't taking.
Yeah, definitely.
If they didn't have the
else.
time to do it.
Yeah.
I was looking into that, and I couldn't find any studies that actually showed an increased capacity for training while on anabolics, but it really does just logically make sense, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have quicker recovery, so you're going to be able to work out more. You could probably train chest every single day and be okay.
Well, that's a hard thing to study, too. They're not going to have 20,000 people taking a bunch of anabolic steroids to see what we can accomplish.
Well, actually,
that'll be one of those studies where it's like 16 people.
Yeah, no, I found an interesting one. I think it had around 40 subjects, and they were divided into 3 groups. Was it 3 groups? I'm just trying to recall here. There was one group so they were all men, I believe age 18 to 40. They all had some weightlifting experience, but not very much. And everything was equal. So they all had the same nutrition plan, just tailored to their weight, and the same workout plan done under supervision with personal trainers. So everything being equal other than steroids. So one group got steroids and worked out.
Yep.
Another group got steroids, but didn't work out. Okay.
Yep. It's poor saps.
Another group got no steroids but worked out, and another group got neither, so didn't work out and didn't take steroids.
Control, yeah.
Okay. So what they found was they had actual numbers like, muscle mass put on in the 10 weeks or whatever it was. Obviously, the people working out with steroids put on an insane amount of muscle mass compared to everybody else. The people not working out and not taking steroids obviously went nowhere, right? The people working out, not taking steroids, got some decent gains. Like, nothing crazy, probably like 2 pounds of muscle.
So just muscle mass
just
essentially just grew without any stimulation.
No. Sorry. Those were the people working out, not taking steroids.
Oh, working out, not...
So they were getting the weightlifting stimulation, but not the steroids. They got some decent gains. Minor gains for sure.
Yeah.
So it went the people that didn't work out and didn't take steroids at the bottom. The next group was the one I just told you about. So the people working out, not taking steroids. And then actually probably got 100% more gains than those people. So double.
Yeah.
Were the people taking steroids, not working
and
out.
not doing shit all.
They didn't even work out.
That says a lot.
That's just living your daily day
and
taking steroids. They were just on testosterone, which is a steroid. They put on about twice as much muscle as the people working out without it.
Which is kind of funny because a lot of the time you hear people say, yeah, I take steroids, but it only works because I work so hard.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
so that kind of
true.
proves that too. And I mean, it's one of those things where we kind of even said that, but if these guys are taking steroids, they're busting their ass.
Yeah.
So obviously they saw more gains.
Oh man,
but it says you wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I think, don't quote me on these numbers, but the bottom group, nothing. The next group probably put on like 2 to 4 pounds of muscle.
That's the natural group, just
the natural working out. Yeah, the not working out with steroids. The next group probably put on like 8 pounds of muscle in that time frame. And I think
in reality, that's like a 75% increase.
That is huge.
Yeah,
it's a ton of weight. Like, people would be happy to put that on working out without steroids.
Was that just muscle mass? Like, did they calculate any other?
Really? They did. They looked into it.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but that wasn't just overall weight gain. It was actually muscle mass.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last group, it was like 15 pounds or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
steroids and working out.
Yeah.
Just
that's
fucking
ridiculous.
nuts, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So you think that, just back to like the overall question.
That just really puts it into perspective for people, right? I might be able to dig up the link and then we could put in the info on this video.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Because I had it at one point and it just blew my mind. It really does put it into perspective for sure. Like, yeah, all the people taking steroids work their ass off too, and that's why they put on, 15 pounds of muscle. But even if you just take it and, half-ass it, it almost proves that you can take steroids and your training methods and nutrition almost go out the window.
It
Well,
al-
nutrition doesn't because they were
such
eating
a cheat code, hey? Like that
Yeah.
literally takes
Well,
out
depending
everything.
on what you're training for.
Yeah, I know, but let's say you're just training for aesthetic and you just
Yeah.
want a little bit bigger muscle and you are just the laziest fuck in the world.
Which is actually the majority of steroid users in the States, at least, aren't professional athletes
No.
or anything. They're just your average
Yeah.
Joe who wants to
No,
look
there's
good.
definitely those are the idiots that just piss me off though, right? Like
They really
I've
do.
actually heard somebody say, you know, I started working out because I wanted to look good, but that was too hard, so I just started taking steroids. Literally.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you get as much out of it just on a personal, like a character building level. You're not going to grow
yeah, I
anywhere,
mean, sometimes, if if you're not trying to build your character, then you don't give a shit about your character.
Yeah,
You
that's
just want
true.
bigger biceps and a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
That was kind of rude, but still. But anyways, okay. So obviously we agree that there's that it's in sport. Do you agree that it should be there, or that it's okay to be there, or would you like to see some sort of?
Well, because they do have natural bodybuilding.
Yeah, but
I don't think anyone
that's what's
knows
kind of
about
bugged
that.
me. That's kind of bugged me. It's like we have this and then we have natural. So we have people doing steroids, but we're not going to admit it or say it's steroid
No.
building.
Everybody knows that, you know, if you're competing
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
in ABBA or those levels, you're probably taking steroids, or most people are certainly. And that's what they want. The fans want huge fucking guys. The
Yeah.
bigger, the better. So
that's why I've always
yes,
said
it's in the sport, and yes, it should be there, and yes, it's going to remain there because that's what they want.
Yeah,
And that's the only way you're going to get it. When you look at the natural guys, they are still big. It's pretty substantial, but they're nowhere near that caliber. They're just not. And I think personally that a lot of people that compete in the drug-free ones probably just cycle off stuff.
Yeah.
they just
And-
timed it a little bit
You
better.
can-
Yeah,
Yeah, you can pass drug
Well,
tests
that's
pretty easily.
everybody does, and it's just
So
that
that's-
one poor bastard who pissed one day early.
Yeah.
That's usually what it is, like in the Olympics and stuff. To get so.
And that's specifically talking about bodybuilding. So what about physique competitions? How do you think they figure into that? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's again a different look. right?
when you look at the people on stage with me, you know, I guarantee you 75% of them were on them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was not one of them, and
Do
that's
they
probably
do-
why I was in the bottom tier, right?
Yeah,
Do they do drug testing at that?
No, because it's part of ABBA.
Okay.
It's just a different division, so it's not tested, and you know, you're almost expected to take them because everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at the people coming on stage, like I could not believe some of the guys that were showing up for this.
Yeah.
I thought men's physique, you know, I thought it was going to be, it says right on the webpage, like, you know, insane muscularity should be toned down, like you know, you don't want muscle cyration. So I'm like, perfect. It's just what I need because I'm not huge. I can't get huge. I've been trying to for years. This is going to be great for me. And then people show up and they're just massive. I'm like, you look like you're ready to step on for light heavyweight bodybuilding. Why don't you
Yeah.
just go on the bodybuilding show? Like, piss off. This is
Yeah, this is
supposed to be for like
this is my
guys
fucking
like me.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
It's
know?
for normal
So that
dudes.
that's kind of interesting then, because how did those guys place? Those guys.
Oh,
who
good.
Yeah,
of course. They placed
so
great.
that's
Yeah.
where the judging doesn't necessarily.
And that's not really
line up.
fair too, because you got to class it a little.
Well, that
bit
was a
better than
huge
that, eh?
complaint about it. Is just like it's bodybuilding in board shorts
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
a little bit more body fat on them. So you know you'll be 8% instead of 4.
So
That's the
you
difference.
can work a little less hard essentially. And again, this is a perfect example. Those guys taking steroids, that was the difference. They're probably like in the gym one day less than you,
Mm-hmm.
and would just because of
Oh,
that.
the guys taking steroids, like we just proved from that study I talked about,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't even need to work out. Could take steroids and then look better than I did working out 5 days
just
a week.
cut the body fat down and then.
Yeah.
That's dog shit.
Yeah, they were probably in the gym less than me, eating not as good as me.
Yeah. See, so that really kind of ruins athletics. I mean, that really does. Like if you look at it like that, I mean, either everybody has to take it, or
Everybody has to not take it.
everybody has to not take it.
And that's gonna be kind of boring.
Yeah, it's getting run.
Wow.
That's why I said baseball. Fucking get them loaded up. It's more fun to watch a home run than it is to watch like a single to first, right? Like it's just that's the one sport that it basically admittedly does steroids.
I mean, everybody may as well take them, in my opinion. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to compete and you want to do good, you may as well take them. Do it properly and do it safely.
Yeah. Also,
And-
how bad do you want it? Right?
Yeah, exactly. But you're going to have to live with the shit that society is going to give you because everybody hates steroids. Well,
Mhm.
not everybody. The uneducated and the naive hate steroids.
yeah,
Because,
there's a stigma on it. Now.
yeah, exactly. Western society just is appalled by steroid use. It
Yeah.
scares them.
That's what it is.
just-
And I don't even say it's
Oh,
Western.
yeah.
I think it's the Americans. They're so scared of everything.
Well, that's Western. It's like Canada,
Yeah.
United States, like North
Which
America
is-
almost. And probably even, you know, Europe and
Western.
Well,
similar
I
countries.
think that Europe's a little
well,
more lenient,
Western Europe.
but yeah.
Germany over would probably be okay.
But I think that's hilarious, especially about the States, because there's a ton of steroid use, especially at the elite level with their athletes. Like in the 70s, they're everyone.
And they're not well. I guess they do actually they do clean up as far as like the Summer Olympics go.
Yeah, they do.
Like if we look at it, like what we do with the weightlifting, just another chance to take a shot at the American Weightlifting Association. You guys suck.
Yeah,
Get it
but
together.
but I mean, good example of that. Ben Johnson, right?
You're
failed.
a Canadian hero.
Failed a drug test, and they gave it to what was his name?
I forget, but he was American. He tested positive too.
Yeah, tested positive before the Olympics, right?
That's what it is.
See, that's the thing, though. Everybody's just so scared of it because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it's just like the nutrition. They just don't want to put in the work to
Yeah.
understand it. They'd rather just,
But
trash talk it.
on the flip side, I'll go to the doctor and get XYZ medication, which has a side effects list
Yeah.
longer than...
Yeah, I'll take my
Sure.
antidepressant, which will make me get heavy mood swings, things like that. I'm not going to sleep at night.
Yeah.
That's
But
okay.
that which will be worse for my health.
Yeah. Or I could take steroids, train a little bit, and get better sleep.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm not going to give a lecture on steroids, but really the short version of the long story is they're not as bad for you than fucking Advil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well,
What's
more
this?
people wind up in the emergency room because of multivitamins.
People will
Yeah.
go and buy cigarettes and smoke them and buy alcohol and drink it all the time and destroy their bodies and be like, oh, that's okay. Wow, that guy takes steroids. What a fucking idiot. Do you know what you're
Yes.
doing to your body?
But what's that? And he's competing in a sport. He's a professional athlete. Wow, and he looks like that.
And again,
Wow,
this
what a
is something
loser.
to keep in mind. Disclaimer. Use them, don't abuse them. Personally, I don't think I'll ever do steroids. I don't see much benefit to it for me. I don't think people need to do steroids. Like you said, if nobody was taking steroids,
If everyone,
we'd
Yeah.
be fine.
if
Then
you're
you
gonna
wouldn't be
compete-
looking at these guys in the men's fitness magazine going,
Mhm.
wow, I want to look like that. Oh, well, you have to do our 10-minute workout and
Yeah.
get ripped.
Yeah,
No,
that's-
you don't have to do
Yeah.
our 10-minute workout. You have to take steroids like the guy in the picture.
Yeah.
do that for 2 years and then come
Yeah.
up out of nowhere and then go for a little fucking walk once a week and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where does the end justify the means? Is it worth doing steroids if you know there's a chance you're going to get caught, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, at the lower levels, there's no point because you would hate to be the guy who didn't get anywhere and got busted for steroids. Like we're talking about like the weightlifting comps and things like that, and as things go. But I mean, there's drug testing policies in a lot of sports suck ass, anyways.
Yeah.
And,
Canada's kind of ridiculous with theirs.
There
but-
are, yeah. There's an article attached to the steroid podcast in the comment section on Facebook.
Yeah.
I suggest you guys go and read it. It's about hunting down Canadian athletes, where we actually, our committee or whatever, actually wants coordinates,
For where
like
you are.
longitude and latitude of where you are, so they can come and take your pee at any given day. But yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about? This
Well,
is a
I
long
mean, I think they definitely have a place.
one. I think they do too.
But you're right. Use them, don't abuse them. Like, if you've never worked out before, don't take steroids. Like,
Yeah.
go to the gym and learn how to properly work out.
Yeah,
Learn
because
how to
that's-
properly eat.
And that's a good experience for, again, not just from the physical standpoint, but getting that discipline from having a training
Yeah.
routine and stuff. With steroids are technically a cheat code. It's like if you're lazy and you want to look good, do them. But if you actually want to become a better person,
If you want to
I would
earn it,
say-
like exercise has benefits. Let's not forget about
Yeah.
this. Like just
Yeah.
exercising alone has a lot of really good benefits on
Yeah.
your life that you should do. It's not just weight loss. Fucking feeling good about yourself. Fucking getting stronger is pretty good.
Yeah.
Being able to sleep at night, energy levels are up. Like I mean, these are all pretty much tangible things
yeah.
that change everything. Appetite increases. You just feel better. You want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're taking steroids, that's just another way to get the easy way out. You're like, well, fuck, I'm on steroids. Put on 2 pounds last night. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna crush a pizza and some wings because you can.
Well, steroids aren't going to stop you from getting fat.
Yeah.
If you're going to eat pizza and chicken wings all day, you're going to be fat.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a gut and you're going to look like shit. But at the same time, you are going to build muscle under all of
Mhm.
that. So when
Mhm.
it disappears, you're going to
Yeah.
have definitely more muscle mass than you did before and look better than you did before. If you can get that weight off after from
If you can lose it, but by now
slamming
you probably
back all
can't.
the pizza and chicken wings and beer.
Yep. All right, so I think that's it. Is there anything you want to plug, Tate? Like your Facebook ads for you selling your car?
It's a pretty nice car.
It's a nice car. It's for sale. It's a Subaru. Okay, guys, thanks for checking us out. Like I said, head over to Facebook and YouTube, share us with your friends. Comment sections are always open for you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.